Good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is John Hoekstra. I'm Executive Director of the Mountains to Sound Greenway Trust, and I'll be your MC this morning. Thank you for joining us for the Greenway Spring Breakfast. I want to begin this morning by acknowledging that we are gathered on the traditional lands of the Coast Salish people who have lived here since time immemorial and remain here today as stewards and champions of these lands and waters and the fish, wildlife, and people who depend on them. Next, I'd like to acknowledge our public officials who are with us this morning. Our community and the state of Washington are fortunate to have so many great conservation champions serving important roles in all levels of government. I can't imagine where we'd be without you. Please join me in thanking our elected officials and agency leaders for the good work they do every day for everyone's benefit. The Greenway Trust has always, since its inception, counted on the region's business community as a cornerstone of support and as vital partners in caring for this amazing place we share. We're profoundly grateful for the Greenway's corporate champions who have embraced their key role in sustaining the region's forests, waterways, and parklands. Please join me in thanking our generous sponsors this morning. Our presenting sponsors, the Boeing Company, Greenvelope, and Waste Management. Our leadership sponsors, AAA Washington, Cascadia Law Group, Patelco, and REI Co-op. Our community sponsors, Asplund Tree Expert Company, Perkins Coie, and Thomson Reuters. And our many friends of the Greenway, the City of Issaquah, Northwest Hydraulic Consultants, Quadrant Homes, Heartland, Recology Cleanscapes, the Trust for Public Lands, Laird Norton Properties, and the Watershed Company. And finally, thank you to our in-kind sponsor, Middle Fork Roasters, who provided the coffee bags on your table that I hope you'll take home and enjoy another morning. Thank you to all of our sponsors. I'm also grateful to the many individuals that have joined me in hosting this event this morning. Would each of the following groups please stand to be recognized? First, our table captains who invited all of you here today. Would table captains please stand? Next, I'd like to invite the Greenway Trust Board of Directors and Board of Advisors to please stand and be recognized. Thank you for all that all of you do for the Greenway. And finally, the work of the Greenway on a daily basis wouldn't happen without the dedication, commitment, and endless good cheer of the Greenway staff. Would Greenway staff please step in from the outside to be recognized? We have such a full room this morning, we're going to do a second breakfast seating for Greenway staff right after this event, presumably with some extra bacon and sausage for Mackenzie. Thank you all. It is also an honor and a privilege for me to share with you this morning that we are joined by a very, very special guest and friend of the Greenway. Our founder, Jim Ellis, is here with us this morning. Please join me in thanking Jim for starting something amazing that we all get to participate in. Jim is seated over with his family on this side of the room. So happy to see you here today, Jim. Thank you for making this effort. Well, it is amazing to be here this morning with such a full room and so many people here to celebrate the Greenway and to be part of our collaborative efforts to take care of it. Many of you already know and love the Greenway based on the pictures you've shared. If you were, as you were coming in, you hopefully noticed the picture roll of submitted pictures. We'll place that back up a little later this morning again. But how many of you are here for the very first time? Oh, fantastic. Welcome. Your presence and support this morning make you part of a large and growing community of people who know and believe that being connected to nature makes life better. And there's no better place that offers more opportunity to make those connections than the Mountains to Sound Greenway. Dramatic alpine peaks, working farms, urban centers, verdant forests, winding rivers, and rural towns are all part of the extraordinary and dynamic Greenway landscape. It's a place that, as our keynote speaker likes to say, is not by chance. It's the result of choices that people have made over many years. Choices about what's important to protect and conserve. Choices about how to develop thoughtfully and intentionally. And choices about how to balance conservation and development so that future opportunities for connecting people to nature are preserved instead of being closed off. The Greenway landscape we see today reflects a rich, complex history of this place and the people who live here. The very first Americans, the tribes who have lived and cared for this land since time immemorial, traded across the Cascades using footpaths over Snoqualmie Pass. 150 years ago, federal land grants created a checkerboard of alternating public and private ownership that ushered in the era of transcontinental railways, timber, and mining. Today, the checkerboard over the Cascades has been largely reassembled back into public ownership, and trade now flows along an interstate that winds through regenerating forests that have been conserved for wildlife, for recreation, and for clean water. Throughout this remarkable history, people have lived in, shaped, and benefited from the lands and waters of the Greenway, a vivid reflection of our continued and close connection to nature. The Mountains to Sound Greenway is truly something special, and those of us who live, work, and play here have known that for a very long time. But now the entire country has taken notice. As you've hopefully heard, last month, the United States Congress officially designated the Mountains to Sound National Heritage Area. This designation puts the Greenway on the national map as one of just 55 national heritage areas across the country, and the first in the Pacific Northwest alongside the Maritime Washington National Heritage Area. The Greenway now ranks among our country's most iconic landscapes, places like Niagara Falls, the Gulf Coast, the Blue Ridge Mountains, something to be very, very proud of. This designation has been years in the making. It happened because of bipartisan support of our congressional delegation, led by Senators Maria Cantwell and Patty Murray, former Congressman Dave Reichert, and Representatives Adam Smith, Susan DelBene, Pramila Jayapal, and Kim Schreier. It also happened because of massive grassroots support from more than 6,500 individuals and businesses and organizations across the region who signed petitions and wrote letters of support about why the Greenway is so important to them. The Greenway has become a national heritage area at a critical time as communities across the region confront rapid growth and change. Becoming a national heritage area offers opportunities to more effectively conserve natural resources, protect cultural heritage, and contribute to the economic vitality of this region. National heritage areas are founded in cooperation among tribal, federal, state, and municipal governments and local residents. They're about defining a shared vision for what communities agree is important to conserve and then promoting collaboration to achieve those shared goals, an approach that may sound familiar for those of you that know the Greenway Trust. As the coordinating entity for the new National Heritage Area, the Greenway Trust will continue to do what we've done for nearly 30 years since Jim Ellis started this organization, serving as champions and stewards of the whole of the Mountains to Sound Greenway, gathering governments, tribes, businesses, nonprofits, and community groups together to break bread and build trust, and collaborating with each other on on projects big and small to conserve the landscape, enhance connections to the outdoors, and engage people as stewards of this place. The Greenway we see and love today is a direct product of the stewardship, coalition building, and collaboration that many of you have been part of. The Greenway that we will leave to future generations will in turn depend on the care, partnerships, and community that we carry forward today. I'm inspired to be gathered with so many of you this morning, united by a shared belief that being connected to nature makes life better. We are blessed to live, work, and play in the Greenway where our connections to nature are close, abundant, and constant. The Greenway and its wild nearby is there for us every day, and I'm grateful that you all are here this morning for the Greenway. As we take our first steps together as a new National Heritage Area, I hope you feel a renewed sense of awe and appreciation for what we have here in the Greenway. A place full of opportunity to be outdoors with family and friends, a place to be proud of, a place to protect and pass along better than we received it. Thank you for your support this morning and for being part of the Greenway community.